time to check in with Michelle Cummins now. Michelle, how are you doing this fine Saturday morning?
Wonderful as always, Curtis. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I guess this is episode number 102 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show.
You passed mathematics. Yes, that is brilliant. We are 102.
I barely passed math on many times. A couple times I went to summer school, but thanks for asking.
Let's see if you remember next week.
Exactly. Next week I'll be saying it's episode 101.
Yeah, just throw us for a loop. Keeping everyone on our toes.
Exactly. So you've been able to handle this pretty quick from summer to fall to like pretty cold week here. What's going on?
You know what? The weather's funny. This weekend we're supposed to see snow and hope. I mean, you were like part weatherman, but it is cold. Yesterday was cold, and it looks like it's just the cold is coming in.
Yeah, I think it's going to warm up a bit next week by the looks of things. But yeah, it's been a quick cool down, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean that the real estate market has cooled down at all.
Oh, that is a good segue. You were correct. You know, last week we had an outage. Like, we lost power for quite a few hours. I'm thinking maybe it's time to call Platinum Electric and get a generator for the property. It's a good time for that this season. But yes, the real estate market has been hot, not cooled off at all yet. Of course, eventually, as everything changes, one day it may be. But right now, you know, it is. And our episode is going to be about today why you should buy. So this is perfect timing because now is a wonderful time to buy. And actually, it looks like for the close foreseeable future, it's going to be a great time to buy. So we're going to talk about that.
Okay, that's good because I'm sure I'll have a lot of questions around this because, of course, as you are well aware, we've been talking about possibly moving pretty much the entire time we've been doing this show. So I'm sure I'll have questions for you.
I'm very excited to get Cassidy a bathroom of her own, very pretty with chandelier and yellow with the pineapples everywhere.
That would be nice because having a almost 14-year-old daughter in the house means one bathroom is pretty much busy all the time.
Yes, and Kelly getting her a great entertainment area for the summertime enjoyment, and you, that kitchen, because you are a cook.
Well, I try to be anyway, because nobody else does. So, you know, by default, I'm the family cook.
Chef Curtis. And, of course, Dylan needs his space to play his music.
That's true.
And then we have the hockey player.
Yeah, then we have Cody.
So we need either. I have the greatest, a hockey coach that is a client and friend of mine. They have this great thing that goes in front or behind your garage door, anywhere really, and you can just practice your shots, and it doesn't dent anything. It's this protective shield. It's really cool, and you just roll it down like a shade.
Oh, I may have to invest in one of those because he'd completely destroyed a fence in my yard already. So, you know, when we do move to a new place, I want to make sure that I don't have to do that again.
Yeah, you won't. You won't with this. It's amazing. Okay, so interest rates are amazing. It's at an all-time low, most under 2% you can get. It's just amazing. This is one of the main reasons why now is a great time to buy. So interest rates, and that saves you so much money per month, so much money overall, and it helps you afford more. So afford more. So the third compromise of the stress test has happened since March. They have actually lowered it and made it easier to get approved for more as a buyer. So that is another reason why it's a great time to buy. Easier to qualify. So, and then the pent-up demand for housing. I mean, if you buy something with a rental suite or potential rental income, our rental rate or rental is literally 0% vacancy. You can rent something in one day with multiple tenants vying for your rental unit. So it is really easy to rent, and that only helps you afford more in real estate. And the more you can afford in real estate, the higher percentage and the more you make in equity growth, which we're going to talk about a little later on as well, is huge in equity growth. So in our area, the Fraser Valley and Lower Mainland, in all of Western Canada, we've always been about equity growth, and that's just smart. It's smart investing, knowing where you're at, knowing what you're able to do, knowing what you're capable of, and just making that leap, making that step forward, and just doing it. Opportunity. And now is the opportunity in everything that we're going through in the world globally, but also locally. There is in any real estate season or any season of our lives, there's always opportunity, but it's those who recognize the opportunity and, move forward in that opportunity and believe in it that actually, benefit from it. And right now is amazing for real estate opportunity. So key reasons to buy real estate. One is cash flow. I mean, when can you put something like 5% down on 2 mortgages you're allowed in Canada and have cash flow? Here, not only do we have equity growth, but you can find some amazing cash flow properties. And if you look back at some of our past episodes, we talked about, locking your real estate potential in your real estate investments and how you can make money off different types of real estate and a whole bunch of different types of real estate you could buy. But cash flow is really exciting. And depending on your tax breaks and deductions, which is the next key reason, that cash flow can work for you. So always speak to your financial advisor and get their opinion. But tax breaks and deductions are amazing, and you get that with real estate. Of course, appreciation we've talked about. That's a third key reason. And fourth key reason, I would say the building of the equity and wealth. I always say the most wealthiest human beings on earth it's really their major wealth has been grown through real estate. It was real estate that made them wealthy. And my, theme is unlocking your real estate potential, because you don't know it until you're told it. And then after you're told it, you have to take action. So that's the step. Portfolio diversification. So there's a lot of different things you can invest in. And whether you have $10, $100, $10,000, $1 million, whatever you have, you have to start somewhere, and then you have to make sure you diversify. So you want to make sure you do that. And there's so many different ways of investing in real estate. Again, episodes we do maybe a month ago. You can find it on the website at country1071.com or michellecummins.ca or our podcast. But there is an episode about all the ways you can diversify on different types of real estate. So that is diversification within real estate. So not just stocks, not just, there's businesses, there's commercial, there's so many. Anyways, have a look at that episode. Next key reason would be real estate leverage. There's so much leverage you can do and have in real estate. And then the next one, competitive risk-adjusted returns. And we will talk more about that at another time. Right now, we won't get into that. And then the next one and last key reason I would suggest and say is the inflation hedge. So there's so much detail in this, but it's pretty simple. It's just, specifically learning about it. And so if anybody wants to learn about it, they can always contact me at any time. And I'd love to help you out and give you the right contacts to help you in things like financial planning and tax, information and law and legal and all that. So one-stop shop, michellecummins.ca.
All right. Now, of course, people often talk about how real estate is the safe long-term investment, too. So I imagine that's another thing people should consider, because it's one thing to follow the stocks and the bonds and the markets and try to keep up with all that. But real estate is kind of that whole slow and steady wins the race approach.
You're so right. And it all starts with your primary residence, because we all need a home. The North American dream and what everybody wants is the shelter. The shelter is so important. And, that is where it all starts. And there is longevity in it. In our area of the Fraser Valley, we've been known to appreciate our real estate equity about 6% average a year. Of course, it changes. Sometimes it's a lot more, 10 or 12%. Sometimes it's a little less, but on average it's about 6% a year since the early 1900s, since it's been tracked. So there is proof in the pudding. There's learning from your history, and and then believing in it and walking in it, because nobody holds that crystal ball in the future, but we do know we all will always need a shelter. We will always need a home, a roof over our head. Like, that is the heart of everything, right? So it's the largest investment we all make in our lives. So it all starts with that primary residence.
You know, it's funny, too, because when I was in high school taking a consumer ed class back in the early 90s, very early 90s, I had a teacher who said, let's face it, housing prices can only go so high. They're going to plateau, and the baby boomers are all going to sell, and we're going to see cheap houses in Lower Mainland. Yeah, that never happened.
No, and I don't see it happening. I mean, when has appreciation? I mean, no, it never goes down. It goes up about 2% or more a year. So why would housing prices go down? It just doesn't make sense. It's not logical.
No, it wasn't. But my teacher, I think he was looking at the odds were that we couldn't maintain the growth that we were seeing at that point, which we've still seen like 20 some odd years later. And here we are now. So, I mean, I can understand his logic behind it, but obviously it was not right.
Yes, and interest rates have a lot to do with it. And, of course, government policies and rules, regulations, the elections, things like this. And but most economists actually expect, as far as interest rates, variable rates will stay at the lower bound for at least 2 years, and that the 5-year fixed rate will begin to rise in early 2021. So that's already early next year. So I'm kind of announcing, letting buyers and letting people know that, the interest rates are set to slowly rise. They do see that it's been low for a while. Under 2% is amazing. It's crazy low, lower than it's ever been. But it's not going to stay this low forever. So, just keep that in mind, that as the interest rates go up, usually that's when prices slow down and prices start going down a bit. So, but the thing is the more and less you can afford as well. So I always say, if you can buy right now, no matter when it is, in that moment or on that day, if you can buy, when you can buy, then you should buy. And there's no better time than now. So if you check with a mortgage provider and just find out, apply, see, and if you can apply, if you can't approve for a mortgage right now, then have them start working with you and helping you on building your credit rating, on helping your debt ratio. They can guide you. They can help you. Mortgage providers are more than just, here's a mortgage. They actually can walk and help you throughout the next couple of years, build up to be able to afford, because as soon as you can afford to buy real estate, you really should, no matter if it's a seller's market or buyer's market or balanced market.
All right. Well, I think with that, we should probably take a quick break. And if people want more information about what you do, what can they do?
MichelleCummins.ca.
We are back with more right after this. Two of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with Michelle 1L Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Now we're going to continue on with the reasons to buy, I guess, right? So what's the next where are we moving to now?
Well, I wanted to make sure everyone knew about this cosigner versus guarantor, because a lot of people don't know that there's a difference between the two. And instead of going on in deep explanation of what it is, you can just check out the video from Thrive Mortgage Group on my website, at my blog, actually, at MichelleCummins.ca, to learn more about that, because there is a difference. Again, we ended the last segment on, is if you can buy, when you could buy, you should buy. And if that means you need a cosigner or a guarantor, and you can get that, then go for it. Do it. And so learn more about that from that simple video. And I wanted to, move on more of why you should buy. Okay. Pride of ownership. How big is that? We all want pride of ownership. It's the number one reason why people yearn to own their homes. It means you can paint the walls any color you desire. You don't have to ask your landlord. You can turn up your music without worrying about, it's your your ears. It's your space. Attach permanent fixtures, those beautiful chandeliers you want. Decorate your home according to your own taste. You don't have to, it's just this proud of ownership is so important. It actually releases energy in you, and it opens your mind, and you get more creative. I mean, ownership is huge in life, and so that is a big thing. And then, of course, appreciation, as I mentioned before. But beyond that pride of ownership, it's important to realize that benefit is, first, your real estate moves in cycles. So, there's ups and there's some downs. Yet over the years, real estate has consistently appreciated. So even during those year and a half times, usually on average, of the down markets, there's usually quite a few years of the up markets, or at least the stable markets. So it's always better on the uptick than it is on the downtick. You just have to keep through those down times, which usually isn't that long of time. So mortgage reduction builds equity. So again, it's all about building equity and cash flow, of course. And as each month, part of your monthly payment is applied to the principal balance of your loan, which reduces your obligation. So the way amortization works, the principal portion of your principal and interest payment increases slightly every month. It's the lowest on your first payment and highest on your last payment. So on average, each $100,000 in mortgage will reduce in balance the first year by about $500 in principal, bringing that balance at the end of your first 12 months to $99,500. So in simple, just facts, truth, I always say if you can do your payments biweekly or weekly, you're actually going to be paying down your principal much faster. Otherwise, if you do it only once a month, you're really slowing down. You actually will save thousands of dollars overall in your 5-year term, your 25-year amortization. You will save thousands if you pay biweekly rather than monthly. So definitely do that. It'll help build that equity even faster. And then equity loans. So consumers who carry credit card balances cannot deduct the interest paid, which can cost as much as 18 to 22%, and sometimes even more. So equity loan interest is often much less, and it's deductible. So for many homeowners, it makes sense to pay off this kind of debt with a home equity loan. So if you're not going to sell and sell and take 100% of your equity out, consumers can at least borrow against a home's equity, sometimes up to 80% of the equity, for a variety of reasons, such as home improvement. Let's say you want to go to college, or you want to pay for your child to go to college, medical reasons, starting a new business. There's many reasons why you need some cash flow and you need to pull some equity out of your home because it's there. You have it. So, yes, you can do that. So that's amazing. And then, it's forced savings. When it's your home and you got pride of ownership, you are going to be making your payments. You're like, I'm not going to miss my payments. This is your livelihood, and this is going to just build wealth in your life. So why wouldn't you pay that over having a next Starbucks coffee or whatnot? So a portion of your payment each month will go to the principal of the loan. This shouldn't be considered a cost, but a savings plan, because that's what it is. Your roof, your home is actually your wealth being built right before your eyes. Every time you pay that mortgage payment, it's a blessing. It's a bonus. It's progress. You're actually saving money and building equity. Every time you pay, especially with today's low interest rates of around 2%, you're making money on that money. So you're just paying yourself by building equity. It's extremely useful when you're ready to retire or move up or buy that extra property. It's definitely positive. So I wanted to share some of my buyer service providers, a list for, what kind of service providers do you need as a buyer? Because a lot of buyers don't know, okay, who do I need to go to? What services do I need? Where do I start? So So, of course, I have all the perfect service providers for our area, being in the business for 17 years. But for Abbotsford Mission area, I wanted to mention maybe some inspectors first, because it's very important when you're buying is to inspect your house, to inspect the property. So for Abbotsford Mission area, I would suggest Grant Beaton of Canadian Home Inspectors. And for Chilliwack, Agassiz, Harrison areas, Ken O'Dale is amazing at buyer's choice. And then for Langley and Surrey areas, Drew from Northwood Home Inspections, I've known for quite a while, and he is a professional. He's very good at what he does. So there are some few really good inspectors who have all the tools of the trade, and they actually really care about knowing what they're doing, and they're certified, they're licensed, and they stand by their word, and they will check up on their work afterwards if need be as well. So these are good guys. If you have a really old property like pre-1950s, I have a specialist for that too. So depending on what you're buying, I'm buying a commercial property right now, and there's a certain inspections I need for that property. If you're on an acreage, you may need a septic inspection. You need a well water test done. You may need an underground oil tank inspection. So different inspectors for everything, and trusted service providers are so important to have. So I'm happy to share them with you. You can see a list on my website at michellecummins.ca, or if you want someone specific, like an accountant, to figure out if there's GST on that purchase, or if you have to pay GST selling a big acreage and you've been there for 30 years, or you need a financial planner to see what type of real estate purchase would be best for your portfolio, then call me direct or text me. I'm happy to share my service providers with you, and my cell phone is 778-885-4659. And, getting all the odd jobs done. Oh my goodness. So if you're a buyer who also is selling, you have to sell in order to purchase, then there might be some odd jobs. You need to fix the fence, or you need some landscaping done, some street appeal happening there, or some painting, repairing, or simple as steam cleaning your carpets. Then a client and service provider of mine, Paul at Diversified Properties, can definitely help you with that. And last week's episode, I wanted to mention, we had talked about why you should sell. This week it's why you should buy. Last week was why you should sell. So you can go back if you missed it and listen to it on our podcast or on country1071.com or michellecummins.ca. Definitely have a listen to that one and all of our past episodes, of course. And to keep updated on the monthly stats and other real estate news, of course, besides our show weekly, you could also tune into my YouTube channel, Michelle Cummins Prec. So let's talk developers and builders. So if you're a developer or a builder, I invite you to contact me again. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but literally I have just come upon a couple other amazing exclusive listings that I have the privilege of representing. And I've got an exclusive future development in Brookswood. I've got an exclusive row home ready to go development in Abbotsford, East Abbotsford. I've got an amazing commercial land assembly in Chilliwack. And I've got this awesome exclusive and executive townhouse site that's never been done before in Mission. It's amazing. Never been done before in the area. So contact me if you are looking for these amazing listings that are not open to the general public, and I'm happy to share them with you and give you all the details. So that's about buying. New opportunities for those who are maybe thinking of starting a dance studio. I have to say, the other day, just a couple days ago, the heart of the Fraser Valley, I was in the space that I just got an authority to lease. I am leasing out the space in what I call, and what actually is coined as, the gas town of the Fraser Valley. It is downtown Abbotsford. I've got 1,800 square feet ready to go, and I walked into the space and I was blown away. I saw the photos, but then I walked in and I'm like, this would be so perfect for a dance studio or a cool cafe, but literally a dance studio, or a cool boutique clothing shop would be great, because there's some really neat clothing shops in downtown Abbotsford. But this is really a really neat space. So if you're looking for maybe starting a dance studio or moving your dance studio, what a great location. You can call me on that one, and it's not even listed yet, but it will be next week. And then, is it okay if I go into an open house that I'm having today?
Yeah, sure, we got some time for an open house. We don't have a ton of time, but hey, what the heck? If we go a little bit long, we go a little bit long.
Okay, so one open house today. Actually, you'll find me and Richard Cummins. He may be strumming his guitar to the tune of our theme song, Somewhere Girl. But we will be at from 11 to 1 p.m. at this amazing property at 1748 Ackerman Court in Abbotsford. It's got amazing Southern Mountains, Baker, and Valley views. The master bedroom's on the main floor, so this is considered a 1.5 story. It is new, just a couple years old, completely renovated by Steve at Atma Construction. It's new, it's bright, farmhouse style, executive listing. It's gorgeous. And I got it coming soon. A gem of a property is coming soon. Listing is one of the only ones available in the neighborhood, and it is almost 8,500 square feet of a lot. This big, nice-sized lot for the area. It's on Sherwood Crescent in West Abbotsford, so stay tuned for that one, and that will be announced probably next week. But call me if you want more information on it. And then also next week, 2 more listings. So just tune in, go on to my social media Facebook page. You'll see it all there. And I'm happy to share more information with you there. And maybe we should end the show with a quote.
I would think so. It's kind of our thing now.
Okay. This is the quote from an amazing man who I'm sure we all look up to. I want to try the impossible to show that it can be done. And that is Terry Fox.
Ah, very, very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, there we go. I think that's all our time today. So if people want more information, again, I know you gave a lot to them today. So where can they go if they need more?
They can go to michellecummins.ca.
And make sure you join us again next week when once again we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.